everyone, welcome back to Fashion Upward. I am Teresa. If this is your first time visiting my channel, thank you so much for being here. And if you are coming back again, then I really do appreciate you for staying here and hanging around. So how's everybody doing? I hope that everyone is doing well, that you are taking it easy. Fall is upon us, so many exciting things are happening. Today's date is September the 7th. So there are a lot of great things that are happening. One of the things that I am looking forward to, although I'm not going to be able to go, is New York Fashion Week. So that kicks off September the 12th. I actually have to cancel my flight. If you all don't know, I am a public school teacher and I teach language arts. So that in itself, that should be enough. Enough said. So you all probably understand the kind of stress that I have been under, just trying to get everything ready for for the school year. Open house was a few weeks ago. School started a few weeks ago. We're actually going into the 4th week of school, and I cannot believe it. So if you've been looking at my shorts, then I share a lot of that on my shorts. So be sure to check out the shorts if you want to see anything behind the scenes of open house and me just preparing to get ready for school. So there has been a lot on my plate, and this video has been in my heart since like the summer, but I just did not, wasn't able to allocate that time to sit down and record it. And today, although I have a lot of things to do, it's a Sunday, I have so much to do to prepare for the upcoming week for school, but I said no. I'm feeling it, I am not going to let another week or day go by without me filming this video. So if you read the title, I wanted to share just a bit about what it was like to work in designer, high-end retail, if you will, for Barneys, New York. And yes, I did actually work at the famous Barneys, New York on 660 Madison Avenue. And I am telling you, that was just a very exciting time in my life. I am so appreciative that I had that experience, and I want to share it with you because I'm not sure like where you are, even if you're not even interested in the fashion industry. Maybe this can help provide some kind of insight depending on what kind of industry you are in. But it's really about a story of starting from the ground up, like literally. And just to give you some background, just a little about me and like how it started out in the fashion retail industry. And okay, so how I started out in the fashion retail industry. If you watch my last video where I was sharing with you, I think it was about the internships, right? And I shared with you in that video that there was a friend that I had at the time, and he was talking to me about because I was working in fast food at the time, and he said, well, it would make sense if you would work in the in retail. He was like, since you like clothes and fashion and all of that stuff, he said maybe you should try to get a job in retail. It was the best advice because that just really wasn't my mindset at the time. I don't know why. I think I shared a little bit in that last video, so go back and watch the last video to pull some nuggets for why I was kind of in that mindset, but wasn't in that mindset to work in the in the fashion retail end. So it was like a light bulb just went off, and I took his advice and I applied for a job at Holidays Fashion in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, because I attended the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Shout out to the UAPB Golden Lions. Yes, class of 2025. So that was many years ago. But I was very involved in in fashion on the yard, on the campus. So anything that had to do with fashion related, I was part of there was like a modeling team, so I did some modeling and did some styling, and and I was working in the fashion retail, and I was also doing theater and things like that. So just very well rounded in the creative venues or ventures in college. So after college, I worked at Holidays Fashions until I graduated from college. And then when I graduated from college, I had went to San Diego, California. So I got a job there at Charlotte Russe. So I was working at Charlotte Russe as a visual merchandiser. And shout out to Veronica, because Veronica held my job for me, you guys. Like, I was still like in transition. So I was still in Arkansas, but I had went to San Diego, gotten a job in San Diego, and she held my job for like a month. It may have been like a month and a half for me to sort things out. So eventually, fast forward, I ended up working in the fashion retail at Fashion Valley Mall in San Diego, California. And I would get up at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to be there by like 4 or 5 to do all of the unpacking of the shipment. So we were there like in the wee hours in the morning, and we were gone before customers, So it was just like the phantom, we were there to make the store beautiful, and then we were off. Okay. And so my days were over by like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so the windows were beautified, and it was just it was fun. It was an exciting job. It's sort of stressful because every morning we would come in and be something missing from the windows, that we have to replenish the windows and steam all the clothes and do all of those things. Well, about 8 or 9 months, and let me mention this, we were at I was working at the flagship store. So the flagship store, that means that corporate was at our back door, so corporate was always there. So we were the, like the muse store. So everything that kind of went out or was pushed out to other stores, we were the muse and the canvas for all of those stores. So I was able to, just kind of brush shoulders with corporate and with a visual team of corporate. And so they kind of knew who I was. And at the time, the manager, I was talking to her, and I was telling her, just expressing to her, I want more, I would love to work at the corporate office. And at the time, corporate, I mean, it still is, like, that's a very refined thing, right? To work at corporate. So that was my goal. I'm like, yes. That's my goal. And so I let her know, and she was like, you need to talk to them, and you need to let people know that this is what, you want to do. So I want to encourage you that if it's something that you are wanting to do, you aspire to do, just let someone know. Like, let a higher up know. If you, aspire to go to the corporate or to the next level, just let, someone know, especially someone that you can confide in and someone that you can trust, with that dream and goal of yours in mind. So I did that, and over a series of months, I was just kind of proving myself. I was going the extra mile. We had presets at other stores, so I was going to all of the presets, doing the presets, setting up. I was doing that, and I was happy to do it. Like I said, like, this was a passion of mine. It was a love of mine, and so I really didn't have a problem with doing that. So I was proving myself throughout those months, and I'll never forget that the night that it was announced. I think we were in Huntington Beach, California, and we were doing like a preset, and we had breaks, and the visual managers at the time that worked in corporate, they were like, we have an announcement. And so they told me, I had interviewed at that time. And so all that was kind of behind me, and I was just still working, still working my job at the, at the Fashion Valley Mall, and just still doing the presets. So they had made the announcement that night that I, got the job into corporate, and I was crying. I was thanking the Lord. I was like thanking the Lord openly. I did not care. I was like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Like, this is you, Lord, that have done this for me, that's done this great thing for me. So that was the mark of something, that was, I would say, like, part of my history, or it was becoming what my career would entail in the fashion retail industry. Okay, so fast forward, I think I stayed at the corporate for about like 2.5 years. So what I did, my role was doing all of the visual directives. So I would dress the mannequins, and we had like a staging area in the at the corporate, so I would do all of the staging, all of the dressing. We would have like samples. So it was a high stake, because we would have visual walkthroughs like every other week. And so I do all of the photography for that, uploading the pictures. And then I had a team where one, kind of just laid out the directive. And then we just had a team. It was a team of 4 of us. And we, did all of the visuals for like 500 plus stores, including Hawaii. And so I was the report person. We did a lot of traveling to other stores and setting up their windows and their displays, and creating their directives like within the store, and just showing them how to do placement and questions and walkthroughs. So I was immersed into that world. So that gave me a ton of experience. So some things happened, and a portion of our team was laid off, and then a portion went to San Francisco, California, to set up the corporate there. So I had moved on, and by that time, I was wanting something more, something different. And I knew that there was a change. I'd been in San Diego for about like 4.5 years at that time. So I felt that itch of like, okay, I want to change. There's something that I want to do. I want to do more. I want to do something different. So I went to something more. I want to do something different. So I was doing a lot of like freelance. I did like some fashion shows for the church, for my church at the time, Good News Baptist Church in San Diego. Shout out to Good News. So I was doing a lot of little things like that, like odds and ends. Like I think I styled like for a magazine. I think it was like Fashion 5.0 at the time. Just doing a lot of like freelance work. Then I landed this job at BCBG Max Sazria. So I think that was the stamp for the high-end portion, like going in another direction, like going from fast fashion, Charlotte Russe, to going to like pivoting to now like higher end, like the luxury part. Because BCBG Max Azria in Fashion Valley Mall at that time was beautiful. This was around like 2010. And so it was beautiful. It was amazing, and I would even remember like getting the job. Couldn't believe that I was like working there. And at the time I was like greeting, and I was doing a little bit of like visuals. And then I don't think I ever really gotten into the sales. I had started out, but with every job that I've ever worked in the fashion industry, in my fashion career, I started from the ground. I started from the bottom, and I worked my way up. Never did I just enter in just starting out, like as a sales expert. No, I had to work from the ground up, to learn that way and to learn that store. Even though it's a fashion retail, every store is different. It has its own language, own jargon, own way of doing things, own fabric, clothing, so everything was different. And so, I worked at BCBG. I know it's so hard for me to say that. I guess it's just a tongue twister, but BCBG. And from there, I, at that time I was, behind the scenes trying to get to New York. So I had went to New York, and I went to like this fashion expo thing that they were having. It's like a fashion career in 2010. And I didn't land anything from the fashion career job, but just the exposure. I'm telling you, when I hit New York, I had known that this was the place for me. Since I was 13, my uncle at the time, he was married to my aunt, so that's why I said uncle at the time. He still considered my uncle. But anyway, my uncle, he had said that I have reminded him of like Macy Gray. So he planted a seed in my life. And that seed was like, you are so creative. When you get old enough, or when you graduate from high school, he said, you should move to New York. So So it's like, even though I wasn't fresh out of high school, but that was that seed that was planted. So it was still in my heart, and I had never forgotten it. And so that season in my life had come. So they were looking for folks that stood out. So in my mind, I was like, I already have this job in the bag. So anyway, I started out like working like in denim, but I was doing some of everything. If they needed help on the floor, I was there. But I had already learned the art of organization. Like that was like a skill set of mine. So I was organizing that denim, like the back denim area. And so at that time we had a lot of salespeople or reps that would come in, and they wanted to know, like, how's my denim performing? Like, I'm talking about Citizens of Humanity, J Brand, all of these big brands that would come in and check on their denim to see how it was doing. And they would, gift you free things, like free denim, so you can try it out, so you can see how the customer, so you can better sell to the customer, basically. So I worked in men's fashion in the back denim, and the higher ups just started to take notice. So when it came that time for the jobs, for them to offer job, they offered me the job of a denim specialist. So I started out as a denim specialist, learning all about the denims, learning about raw denims, learning about the brands. I mean, I studied it, I mastered it, and I had it down. So months went by, and then I'd start to take notice again from management saying, I can see that you're kind of bored with this position. How about you move into the sales? And I'm like, okay, that's excellent. That is where the money was, I'm telling you. And it was just exciting. I don't really have another adjective to describe. Just exciting, exhilarating, informative. It was informative because there were celebrities that would come in. I'd work a lot with stylists. I'd work with just, businessmen and just general normal people that was just looking for denim, and so I was on the floor, and I had already mastered and known about denim from working in that position. So it was easy for me. It was just like a seamless transition. So I was working the ateliers, doing the alterations and working with clients and whatnot at Barneys, New York. And then, I would cross-sell and work with the design. Okay, so I worked at the men's designer. And then you had high-end. So that was like Valentino and, Paul Smith, like the high-end designer fashions. So I was cross-selling and working on those floors, just building relationships. So that is pretty much my story of working in Barneys, New York at the 660 Madison Avenue in New York, in the fashion industry. And when that season kind of closed, then I went on to, move back to Arkansas like years later, open up my own store. I was a brick and mortar location, with my aunt. And so that was a whole experience. But I don't want the video to be too long, but if you would like for me to go into that whole experience and what that was like, and I still do have an online store. So if you are interested in that, you can check it out at inheritance111.com. But I hope that I was able to share or shed some kind of light or even inspire you, no matter what position you're in. If you're interning, you're in fashion school, don't be afraid to talk to someone. Let someone know. It is okay to start from the ground up. Show yourself. You really do have to put in the work. Show yourself, prove yourself, and if it's something that you are striving for and you know that that is the place for you and you know that you can learn and grow, then all means I encourage you to do it. I am always available to answer questions. You can email me. All of my information is in the description bar. I hope that y'all have a blessed blessed September. Y'all take it easy. And if you're going to be attending Fashion Week, please share with me your outfits, what you're going to be wearing. Hey, I'm going to still do my own little rendition of Fashion Week here in North Carolina. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and I will talk to y'all real soon. Okay, till next time, y'all take it easy. Peace.